Hi, it's evening. It's been a struggle today to make videos. It's 4 p.m. and I'm making one. I've made this is the fourth attempt. So it was kind of a rough day and I thought to do this, I guess, just to show that I can do it on a bad day. Okay, we are doing qualities to be sought in a prospective wife. We usually hear the other side a lot. In fact, I didn't do this video first. I did the other one first because I thought that this one will not be acceptable. I know it's hard for when men claim to have standards or not to look for in women, it's immediately termed as wrong. It's normal for women to have standards and stuff, but it seems wrong for men to have the same. So maybe that's my hesitation, even subconsciously, to do such a video. But it's a religious perspective, so I've prayed. Let's see how it goes. Qualities to be sought in a prospective wife. We're reading from the book Adventist Home, from page 45, paragraph 5 to 46, paragraph 3. So, let a young man seek one to stand by his side, who is fitted to bear as share of life burdens. So, there is the issue of being fit and fitted to bear life burdens. We usually say that being an adult is, somebody said it rather, that being an adult is the ability to handle uncertainty. I think kids can handle uncertainty, but maybe the one thing which separates kids from adults is the ability to handle uncertainty. When you go to your dad to tell him that you're scared about tomorrow, is likely to say, "Don't worry, it should be okay. God will make it fine," or something like that. So uncertainty. I usually think that anxiety is an issue with uncertainty. My thoughts. You can have your own, which is fine. Okay. So one whose influence, let a young man find someone who is fitted to bear life's burdens. So do not look for a child bride. Do not look for someone who cannot stand on their 2 feet. They cannot bear their psychological burdens and their physiological burdens. So one whose influence, so she's going to influence you, definitely. So one whose influence will ennoble and refine him. So someone who can refine you and someone who can ennoble you, make you more noble. I think that's a high standard to look for, but it's something to look for nonetheless. Okay? And who will make him happy in her love. So there should be love and the ability to be happy in the same love. I think that love is majorly a function of trust. So if you can't trust me in these videos, that what I'm telling you is researched or some sort of that, and I'm not trying to ride up my statistics for YouTube, then you won't listen to me or you won't hear me. But if you trust me, it's easy to listen to me. So in the same way, you cannot be happy in somebody you do not trust. You cannot love someone you do not trust. I think trust is the oxygen for a relationship, to quote a certain author also. Okay. Paragraph 2 for this article, for this video. A prudent wife is from the Lord. So there's an issue of prudence. Prudence is similar to wisdom in many ways. So a prudent wife, a wife who has discretion, is from the Lord. So not all wives are from the Lord. It's a prudent wife. Okay. The heart of a husband, the heart in the Bible is usually the mind, but the emotional mind. There's this author, Daniel Goleman. He wrote that we have two brains, really, the emotional brain. I don't think that's the term he used, but something like that. And then the rational brain. So the heart is usually the emotional brain, which consists of the will, emotions. Yeah. So the heart of a husband doth safely trust in her. Okay. So can you can you trust that person? Can you trust that woman or that girlfriend? This woman will do him good and not evil in all the days of her life. So, first of all, to begin with, my girlfriend or my mother and my sisters or the women in my life, they have never done me good in all their lives. So it's not that. It's not about human frailties. It's about vices. So evil is premeditated. You're planning to harm me from the outset. So that's, we are told that this ideal woman from the chapter 31 of Proverbs will do the husband good and not evil all the days of her life. But my girlfriend, my mother, my sisters are going to hurt me once in a while. But rarely is it premeditated. But if you find someone who actually seeks to harm you, I mean, find someone else. Find someone else. Run away, run away, run away. Okay, she opens her mouth. This one is written in KJV, so I can read it as it is. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. So kindness is something else. They usually say that, would you marry someone who is kind or someone who is a Christian? I think if someone is a Christian, they'd be kind. But we know about the gifts of the Holy Spirit and stuff. The gifts and fruits. So fruits are what you see. The gifts are, prophesying, babbling, stuff like that. Somebody can be a babbler, so to speak. Somebody can be a prophet or a teacher of the gospel, and they are wife abusers. So it's possible to have a gift without the fruit, if that is not reductionist. Okay? She looketh well to the ways of her household. There's a large debate about what a woman should do after the dissolution of gender roles, at least in American cultures. Should your wife cook? should you cook for your wife? These are questions which should be addressed. I think they should be addressed on a one-to-one basis rather than on a large-scale basis. In my culture, men don't generally cook. But my dad would cook for us when my mother was sick. So that's what I know to be the acceptable norm. So I've spoken about that with my person, and it's acceptable that way. I think as much as possible, whatever can be automated should be automated. There should be, I think women, at least for my case, should buy washing machines, uh, these things for cooking cakes and stuff like that. Cakes cooked, baking cakes and stuff. I think you should automate as much as possible. Okay, again, much of the automation in the kitchen and in the household was actually designed by men to buy time to women. So I think not using that, while it's your choice, I think it's being a Luddite of sort, which is your choice again. So she looked well to the ways of her household. So the ideal woman for the Bible is actually a homemaker. Yeah. So she does not eat the bread of idleness, so she's not idle. There's a difference between being idle and taking rest. I think that's simple to decipher. Her children arise up and call her blessed. So it's really hard for children to praise their mom. I have been a child for a while to my mother, so it's very difficult for you to praise someone who you've seen in their dark days and in their days of light. So this must be such a standard. Okay, so date someone who you think your children will praise and call her blessed. Then it goes on to say, a husband also, he praises her. So date someone you can praise, someone who is worthy of your attention and praise and kind, painstaking attention and respect and care. So that's a good ideal to look forward to. So the husband praises her, saying, many daughters have done virtuously. So there's the issue of virtue, but you excel them all. Like she's, of course, it can mean first of all, that you should praise your wife. At least if that's a love language, you should praise once in a while. They usually say that if your girlfriend has the love language as physical touch as a primary love language, a hug or a peck or a kiss where other people are means a lot to them. Which you should do that. You should do that. You should try that. So if praising someone before somebody else, if it works for them, why not do it? What do you think? Okay. He who gains such a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. So finding a wife means obtaining favor from the Lord. I mean, our culture, which is there is the opposite to feminism, which I think is the red pill movement, if I'm being simplistic. And nowadays the courts are very corrupt. If my wife cheats on me and goes to court, I'm going to lose my kids and my wealth, and I'm going to keep paying child support. Yet it was her who made the mistake. Or at least if you get what I'm saying. So many men are willing to opt out of a relationship. I think you've had this question before. If if there's no incentive to get married, why should you get married? Then there is also the Lothario's creed of, if you can get the milk for free, why should you buy the cow? I think you've heard of that. I assume people will watch this video majorly men. Okay, so he who gains such a wife finds a good thing. There's someone who married a lady called Jezebel in the Bible, Ahab, and another person married Athaliah, the daughter to Jezebel. I think he was called Ahaziel or something like that. It shows that the person you marry will affect you a lot. So if it's beauty alone you're looking towards, you should remember the wife of Solomon was arguably the most beautiful woman of that time. Yeah, and then Samson from the Bible looked for a woman because of feminine qualities. And you know what happened. So primarily, I think the same chapter in the Bible says that beauty is vain. Okay, so that's from an inspired perspective. Of course, beauty is important. You should date someone, you should marry someone who you find attractive. I mean, that's obvious, that's given. But beauty primarily, for the sake of it, is vanity. Is vanity. So paragraph 3, here are things which should be considered. Will the one you marry bring happiness to your home? We've said that before. So happiness is resultant from following the right principles. You can't be happy if you're hungry, right? You can't be happy if your wife browls all the time. Some of us say that it's better to sleep in the roof than to sleep with a brawling wife or an argumentative wife. Okay, so will the one you marry bring happiness to your home? Is she an economist? Economy, like thrift and stuff like that. Is she an economist? Or will she, if married, not only use all earnings, but all of yours to gratify a vanity, a love of appearance? So I think you can learn this from the present situation. If your girlfriend uses all her money for self-gratification, I mean, again, find someone else. I don't think you have a responsibility to mold someone into something you want them to be. You can do it, but it's not your responsibility to do that. So if a girl is out to chop money, as I say, and you're not for that, I mean, find someone else. You don't need to educate someone on finances. Yeah, so imagine someone will use all her money and yours to gratify vanity. There's this statement which men usually lament about, at least the men in the Red Pill movement, where women say, my money is my money, your money is our money. Something like that. So, again, when you hear such toxic stuff, just move away. You don't have to lecture them. Find someone else. Okay, so Are her principles correct in this direction, the direction of finances? Finances are very important. I remember there's somebody who sold me a book in high school. It was called Communication, Sex, and Money. These are things which influence marriage for the most part, at least from that book. It was by a pastor who is now dead. So I remember the book. Money is important. Money is important. So has she anything now to depend upon? Are you marrying someone who can depend upon something? Is she in school? Is she trying to learn a trade or a career? Or you're going to be the sole provider? There's nothing wrong with being a sole provider, but it's good to have someone who can depend upon something. You could actually die in your first year of marriage with a kid. So where will she go? Where will she go? Or you're immortal, like the Spartans. So what if you died? What will your kids and your wife, eat if she's not remarried? Okay, so find someone at least who can depend upon herself. I think self-dependence has never been a vice. In fact, the inability to depend upon yourself is weakness. It's a vice. Okay. Then the writer says, I know that to the mind of a man infatuated with love and thoughts of marriage, these questions will be brushed off as though they were of no consequence. But these things should be duly considered, for they have a bearing upon your future life. So all this is about, is she a homemaker? Is she an economist? Does she do all for a love of appearance? And what are her principles in this direction? At the first, it said, let a young man. So you're required to marry at least young before, so that your kids can have a father to play with. Of course, you can marry at 40, which is okay. But by the time your kids are 20, you'll be very old and retired. So I think your kids also deserve a dad to play with. Yep. So the last paragraph says, in your choice of a wife, study her character. Okay, again, I am an easy Lothario, so to speak. I grew up around women, so it's easy for me to talk to women even now. So there are men who've never grown up around women or who don't know how to talk to women, whether for dates or for anything. So for the most part, these men are likely to pedestalize women. They're likely to simp. I think that's the term. Simping is, I've ever done that before. Simping is trying to woo a lady to your side who is decidedly against that. Okay? Somebody is not interested in you, but you're trying to cajole them, you're trying to duress them into loving you, which is bad. You should not do that. So in a choice of a wife, study her character. So there are men who fall into the category I spoke about, who think that a woman paying attention to them is a favor upon them. It's not. Women are human beings just like you. There are bad people out there the same way there are bad women out there. So you should study the character of the person you intend to date or to marry. So will she be one who will be patient and painstaking? You have a lot of flaws yourself. There are all these ideologies which you have, which someone needs to be patient with them. So will she be patient and painstaking with you? Will she be careful? Will she be kind? Will she be want to listen to you also? Again, the popular narrative nowadays is to bash men for whatever they say. And in my experiences, if you find someone who does this, don't educate them. You should go find someone who is patient and cool. Okay. I think it's an impatient approach to patience, if I can contradict myself. Study a character. So you don't want someone who is going to brawl with you all the time. So find someone who is what you would wish to have. Okay. So, will she be one who is patient and painstaking, or will she cease to care for your mother and your father at the very time when they need a strong son to lean upon? So, for the most part, we usually told that in the Bible, for this reason, a man should leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. Okay, but you also know from the Bible that when Isaac and Rebecca married, they actually lived near their father. Okay, when Jacob married, he still lived under Laban or Laban. You don't have to move away from your parents when you get married. Again, we spoke about India previously, that India has like the lowest divorce rate, yet they don't believe in God for the most part. So we can argue that you don't really need God for a marriage to succeed. You need laws. God set up laws. You need duty. You need duty over inclination. So for this case also, I mean, the notion that you need to leave your parents to live peacefully from your parents, you should leave your house. I've heard women who say, do not date any 25-year-old who still stays with their parents. And you're like, yeah, how old are you? Where do you stay? Okay. So, and will she withdraw him from their society to carry out her own pleasure and leave the father and mother who, instead of gaining an affectionate daughter, will have lost a son? So, your parents will depend upon you. They will need you when they are older. Unless you're a selfish bigot, for the most part, you're required to pay back what your parents did to you. You're required to at least look upon them with concern and care. Okay. So if your wife shows or is willing to take you away from your parents, maybe not physically, but emotionally, all that, then that's a red flag, if you can say. Okay, so these are the qualities to be searching a prospective wife from the book Adventist Home by Ellen White. My voice is a bit raspy, but I think that's the end of this series. We shall begin another series next time. Have a good day.